All right, we already did number 1. Let's try number 2. Okay, let's let you work. Quick question. The or goes between them. The or goes between. So each expression is units equals F, and the or goes between it, and then one big set goes around the whole thing. That's that. And then another parenthesis right around here. Okay, so we're answering the question. Sorry, it's messy. We're answering the question. Write the statements necessary to print the price of apples and the price of oranges. Then print apples cost more and oranges cost more. So all you need is a couple of C-outs and C-ins. Start with that. Everybody should be able to do that. So we're inputting apple price and orange price. And what type should apple price and orange price be? Float, okay? So prompt for C-out, enter apple. You know how to do this. I don't need to tell you how to do this, right? Please tell me. Okay. Okay, so you warmed yourself up. You've got C-out, apple price, C-out, enter apple price, C-in, apple price. And you can do it in one, whatever, okay? But you're inputting the price of apples and the price of oranges. We don't want another if. That's possible, but that would be inefficient. We should always use an else. Well, right now I just want an if and an else. We're only going to handle apples are greater. We are comparing apples and oranges, right? Okay? So everybody has C in apple price, C in orange price. Say check. Okay. Then what do you have? If apple price is greater than orange price, what should you see out? Yes. Apples cost more, oranges cost more. Don't worry about the equal situation yet. We're going to get to that. Friends? And no, you don't need to do any, you can't, as a matter of fact, that's illegal to do a check. The else is not allowed everything. Let's look back. That's actually a good question. Okay? Let's look back at the else syntax, else. Let's look back at the else syntax a second. Whoops, here it is. Nothing can go here yet. Nothing can go here yet. I'll show you what we eventually can put there, but no parens here. So right now, we should have if apple price is greater than orange price, C out, apples are more, else oranges cost more. Let me put that up and then let's do it now. Okay. Now what I want you to do, while I'm putting that up, I want you to do a trace. And what would the first trace, what would be the traces that you would do in this case? What would be the code that you would pick, the data you would pick? Of what? Something simple like 1 and 2, right? So 1 and 2. What would be the second test after 1 and 2? 2 and 1. And what would be your third test? 2 and 2. Let's try a trace on all 3 of those and see what it does. Okay? 3 traces. How do you do a trace? Write your variables across the top of the page, see what happens. So our code is all right, so who's going to do this on the board for me? The trace. I want somebody to do the trace on the board for me. Juliana, is he volunteering you? And what's his name? Benjamin? Come on down. Okay, we'll show you. We'll help him. Come on down. Okay, let me move the camera so we can get you on camera. Okay, so what's the first thing you do when you do a trace? Help them. I'm writing the code. What's the first thing you do when you do a trace? What's step 1? Somebody in the audience help them. You got to write your variables. So write your variables horizontally, and your variables are, I'm trying to catch up with you, are apple price and orange price. So write those across the top of the page. Okay. Okay, what's the next thing he does after he writes the variables across the top of the page? He writes a column to the right called output. I have to finish my code. Okay, now, if you pretend you're the computer, and I'm finished writing this line, which I'm not quite, okay, what would be the first thing that happens when you pretend to be the computer? What is the first thing that happens, Benjamin? Is it Ben or Benjamin? Okay, Ben, first thing that happens if you pretend to be the computer, what's going to happen when I run this line right here? Don't tell him. This line right here. Okay, so where should that go? So in the output, you put exactly enter, exactly what that says. So you're pretending, is that a bad marker? Here you go. So he's going to write the very first line of this program, which says enter apple price and orange price. So you don't get panicked. Just take it one line at a time. It's a stupid computer. You're a smart student. Okay? All right. So he just did this line right here. Now he's going to do the next line. And Juliana, what did we say the first set of data was that we were going to use? Anybody remember? 1 and 2. So that means they entered 1 for apple price, so what should you do? 1. And they entered 2 for orange price. Good, that's it. That's all you do for a trace, okay? Okay, so then you come here, and you say, if apple price is greater than orange price, is that true or false? Apple price is, well, just tell me, is 1. And is 1 greater than 2? And that's what? True or false? False. So we skip this guy, and we come right down to here, and we print in the output column, oranges cost more. So does that look like that first trace worked? Yes. Okay? So now we're going to do this again. I'm going to get another victim. Okay, Brian, do you mind coming up and doing the next one? Okay, so this time we're going to pretend to be the computer. And what's going to be the first thing that happens? Same thing. Does everybody see that? What's our data set this time, Brianna? 2 and 1. Okay, so he's pretending to do this line right here. Okay? And now he's going to enter 2 into the apple price and 1 into the orange price. Okay? Now we come here. Don't wait. You're smart. The computer's stupid. Okay? Computer's here. Apple price is 2. 2 greater than 1 is true. So we print, now it's your turn, apples cost more. Does that look like that trace is correct? Yes. Next victim, /volunteer, Jared. What's our last data set? 2, 2. Pretend to be the computer. Don't fill anything in. I might have to smack you. Over in the right-hand column, what's the first thing that's going to happen? Right, so he's going to go to the output, and he's going to say, enter apple price and orange price. Is everybody, okay? We're saying our data, take your time. Okay? We're saying our data in this case is 2 and 2. So what goes into apple price? 2. And what goes into orange price? Okay, so we get here. If apple price is 2 and orange price is 2, what happens right here, Gabriella? What happens 2 greater than 2 is false. So we skip this line. So what would print out? Oranges cost more. So go ahead and print it out. And what do you think about that? That's not good. That's not good. Okay? Thank you. Come on, everybody. Give our volunteers a hand. Okay. So I'll come over here where the camera is. How can we fix this issue? How can we fix this issue? Let me change. I'm going to add an if inside this guy right here. Okay? Because what can go inside the else? I forget. Single statement, compound statement, or null statement. Is an if-else a statement? Yes. So we're going to add the following. If orange price is greater than apple price, what should we print? If orange price is greater than, oranges cost more. Else, what's the third situation? Well, we don't need to test for that because it can only be greater than, or, right? I don't really need to test for it. Agreed? It's either greater than, less than, or they're the same. I don't need to actually make the test, okay? Now, this works. Tell me what is separating this and this. What is separating the, let's see if I can do this. I'm not going to be able to type fast enough. What is separating this and this? Well, it's not a hard question. A return, blanks, a tab. We call this white space. We call this white space. What would happen if I said delete, 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 move the if up to the else, and I'd make it a lot prettier? Because then it would say, and I'll do this, we'll start with this on, if apple price is greater than orange price, else if orange price is greater than apple price, else, because this is really a three-way test, right?